Yesterday's episode is on the true meaning of renunciation. And within the realm of renunciation, so many of us have these visuals in our heads of taking things to an extreme. Vedanta is explicit around a balance, the middle path, as the Buddhists say. And this middle path, this balance, is best articulated in chapter 6, where it talks about moderation in eating and recreation, balance in work, regulation in sleep. This philosophy talks about how we sleep. Even in the 2,500-year-old Bhagavad Gita, it's talking about regulation of all kinds. I know I found it so funny when my teacher Joseph was telling me about our senior teacher, the founder of the ashram, Swami Parthasarathi, of which I use every moment I can to tell people to go check out Vedanta Treatise, his magnum opus. That book will change your life. If you're in any way interested in these concepts, this entire channel is just an on-ramp to Vedanta Treatise and reading that book. But this concept of just even this part of regulated sleep, it's so funny to me when I first heard that Swami would watch 2 hours of Animal Planet in the afternoons. Like it blew my mind. And I think that's because in our Western wiring, our American wiring, it's just go, 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 get. Anytime you're resting, as Michael Jordan would say, anytime you're resting, the other guy's getting better. I don't think Michael Jordan has much peace internally. I don't think he's winning any world championships when it comes to peace or inner bliss. Swami watching 2 hours of Animal Planet it's just such a refreshing and beautiful image in my mind, because regulation and balance is key. It's a cliche to say that today. But even at the heights, the absolute heights of a spiritual pursuit, one can still and should still have balance. The naps that they take at the ashram in the afternoon, another perfect example of balance. I've incorporated 30-minute naps into my day, and not only is it balance and such a great ritual to add into anyone's day, especially if you're waking up at 4:45, but that ends up being the balance, that tiny 30-minute break. It's like I have 2 days. My productivity has skyrocketed since taking naps in the afternoon. And I would have thought 5 years ago, a nap in the afternoon is a step backwards in productivity. It is so laughable now when I think about how I used to approach productivity, when I used to approach work, life in general, with all of these extremes in my head instead of balance. And it's not every day that you come across a philosophy, much less a timeless text in something like the Bhagavad Gita, that's talking about regulated sleep, that's talking about moderation in diet or recreation or balance in our work. It's not a theme that's often discussed when talking about the Gita, but it is one that is so necessary to remind ourselves of in our modern daily lives. So that is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the Daily Vedantic. This reflection is part of a free repeating 2-year course in Advaita Vedanta. Rooted in the timeless wisdom of the Upanishads, arguably the oldest philosophical texts on earth, you can begin with episode 1, which gives the 15-minute overview of the whole philosophy of Vedanta, or you can join the journey with any episode at any point. But the critical aspect of this course, of understanding and mastering anything, is to study and reflect, even for 10 to 15 minutes on the timeless each day, preferably at the start of your day. As is said in this philosophy, reflection is 100,000 times as powerful as listening. So listen, journal, sit with, discuss these concepts, or ask questions at thedailyvedantic.com with our AI-powered chatbot informed by about 700 episodes here, as regularly as one can if you want to see clarity and peace almost effortlessly unfold in your daily life. And if it doesn't result in a near immediate increase in clarity and peace, then toss aside and feel free to never listen again. One of the things that you might notice is after 7 or 8 days in a row, this doesn't feel like a discipline. This feels like a visit with a best friend to dive into the timeless with daily reflection. Within a few days, it becomes one of your favorite parts of the day. You can also find out more, including news about in-person events in Los Angeles and beyond, at the Daily Vedantic on Instagram or through our weekly newsletter at thedailyvedantic.com. Additionally, check out the links in our show notes for more resources like the books that are mentioned most frequently in the episodes, including Vedanta Treatise, perhaps the simplest and most straightforward read on this philosophy I've ever come across. Until next time, and from the entire team that works on the Daily Vedantic project, thanks for listening.